Welcome to the KA.
Oh, thank you.
What do you think?
Very cute.
Yeah? You like it?
It's very cosy.
Yeah? Very frugal chic.
Yes.
So I got this car when I was 17 and I saved up from when I was 12 to buy it. I know.
That's
it took me 5 years. Save up, I think it was £3,500. It cost me when I bought it.
That's actually very, more affordable than I thought it was.
And I think now it's probably worth about 200 quid. But I've had it for 7 years.
That's amazing.
It's never died on me.
Yeah.
I think I've spent like £1,000 fixing it. It's just like the most reliable thing in my life. Welcome back to another episode of Passenger Princess. Today I'm joined by Mia McGrath, who has recently been featured in Vogue for her famous catchphrase, the Frugal Chic. She recently quit her job to become a full-time content creator and has recently landed jobs with HMRC themselves. So Mia, I want to know how much money you've got in your savings.
Okay, as of today, over £150,000.
Wow, £150,000. And you were recently featured in Vogue, which is amazing, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
For your catchphrase, which is the Frugal Chic.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Frugal Chic. Who is she? What is it? What does it mean?
Yeah, so this came about after I'd been making videos for over a year, and then someone had commented, because I talk a lot about saving and frugality, someone said that I'm a perfect mix of frugal and quiet luxury. And I thought, yeah, that's a bit of me. I feel like I do save a lot, and I am quite savvy, but also I've worked in fashion. I care about appearance and taste and stuff, so it's kind of a mix between those two worlds. And I always thought that you had to be one or the other, but I actually think that you can live luxuriously on a budget. You can live luxuriously without spending too much. So
yeah. No, it's literally like when I saw Mia come up on my TikTok, I can't remember the first video I saw that you made, but obviously the Frugal Chic is like a different take on Save the Pennies and the Porsche by itself, but they both kind of have the same meaning, which is you should spend money on the right things and not waste money on the wrong things.
Yeah.
But Mia is just a lot more dialed down in it than I am. But it's like, I like that it's a similar thing, but we've both kind of done our own spin on it. It's really nice.
It's kind of like you show it visually and I show it verbally.
Yes, exactly.
It's basically a philosophy I created, and it's about living luxuriously while spending intentionally. It's about splurging on what matters to you and cutting costs on what doesn't. I think that frugality is about savviness. I don't see it as penny pinching. I think that's extreme frugality, and I think that doesn't help you achieve wealth. But having just not giving in to every single impulse and just having values and being intentional with your spending, that to me is like what frugal chic is. And I guess I mixed frugal and chic because I've got a background in working in fashion for 2 years, and fashion is thing that I love. So
and you do modelling as well.
Yes, thank you. So mixing those two worlds, I think that you can save but also be fashionable and also have a life and cultivate taste, because a lot of things that are tasteful, like reading books, learning about art, being cultured, they actually don't cost as much as you think they would. It's more like our current age of overconsumption, which is costing people. So it's more like just making that switch.
Yeah. And you do modelling as well, and you've been doing that more recently, haven't you? Have you been enjoying it?
Yeah, I really love it. I've actually been doing it for several years now, but it's very on and off, unpredictable, and I do it very sporadically.
Yeah. But you've done, what are some modelling campaigns you've done recently?
I did one for Puma. I also did one for
HMB Cosmetics.
HMB Cosmetics, yes. With my agency, because they're started as a sports agency, I tend to do more sports stuff.
Yeah, the Puma one was really cool though.
Yeah.
Has the photos come out yet from that?
No, I think it will be it's always a year after.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is an ideal day being frugally chic for you?
Oh, this is a good question. I feel like it's waking up with no alarm. So you're probably self-employed or your own boss or something. You get up, you make your coffee at home with your Nespresso machine or something, and then you make a high protein, healthy breakfast. You do some writing in the morning, whether it's you probably have a Substack, and then you put on an outfit that's made with natural fibers, a pair of jeans you've had for 10 years, a cashmere jumper that's...
And your Burberry trench coat.
And and you see your friends, you engage in like work that's really meaningful to you, and you have hobbies like maybe it's a pottery class or reading, or like going to the theatre, and then you just have like a day of like, it doesn't have to cost a lot, but it just feels very rich in time and freedom.
I love that. That was so good. So being featured in Vogue at 24 is a massive achievement. I'm not actually sure if you understand how good it is. But how did that make you feel, like, when you saw that article?
Oh my God, like, I remember just, I don't know, feeling so almost anxious in a good way, just really excited and just like, I can't believe this is my life. And I was with my parents at the time. They were like, "Oh, we're so proud of you."
Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
And it came at such nice timing because it was just after you'd quit your job.
Yeah.
Which was a big step for you.
Yeah, it felt like a really big moment. I just finished my job and it was a nice like sort of recognition that I'd like achieved something.
Did you put it on your wall at home?
No.
You should put it on your wall. You should frame it and put it on your wall.
Oh, thanks.
I would if I were you. And some of your most viral videos are on things that you don't spend money on.
Yeah.
So what are 5 things right now that you would not spend money on?
Okay, it's controversial, but I don't buy coffees every single day. I find that like the little expenses, they add up.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather make it at home, or like at the moment I find that because I'm self-employed, I kind of only got into coffee because of the 9 to 5. Like I was drinking it to just like stay, keep myself going. But now I don't find I need it as much. I can just regulate my work patterns and stuff to match my energy. So I actually don't drink it as much. And I just think that it's not about the coffee or the lunch or anything like that. It's just about those little things that add up daily.
The girls that work for me are going to laugh so much when they hear me say this, but I constantly bang on at them when they come in with a coffee. I'm like, why have you bought that? Because the office we work at has free coffee.
Yeah.
And I've said to them from the start, I actually say it to everyone, coffee is such a waste of money. I don't buy coffee every day.
Yeah.
I have a coffee machine at home.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly the most painful thing to spend money on. I get why people do it, and I get that it's like a little treat. It's like a nice indulgence. But honestly, I think I did the maths. Let's do the maths now. So if you buy coffee every day, how much is a coffee in London now? Like £3, £4, basically £4.
Yeah.
So if you get a coffee every day of the week when you go to work, that's £20. Times 4 is £80 a month. Times 12 is £960 a year.
Yeah.
So you're literally spending £1,000 a year on coffee. That is like, you could get your nails done once a month instead of getting a coffee, or you could buy, I don't know, like a YSL handbag.
Yeah.
Actually, you can't really even buy a designer handbag anymore for £1,000, can you? But what can you buy for £1,000 that's like such a better spend of your money? Or you could save it.
Dare I say it? Yeah.
But you know, when you look at a figure like that, £960 a year by having coffee when you're going out, when actually you could buy an espresso machine for £100 and spend a tenner on pods a month.
Yeah.
That's going to cost you £220 instead of £960.
Yeah.
Girl math, don't buy the coffee.
Some other stuff that I've mentioned that's like made people annoyed is pets. Like I think it does make sense though. I'm in my mid-20s. I live with a partner in a flat, like we rent, and I don't even know what the pet policy is, but it's just like, it's too much aggravation. We've always, like, my family's always rescued cats, and they're so like, it's not just we always rescued them, so we didn't buy them, but like, it's not just the purchase at the time, it's like the vet bills and the insurance and everything like that, and the food, and it's just
expensive.
In my 20s, I think I'd rather, like, it's a lot of responsibility as well, and I think a lot of people, like, maybe during COVID got pets and then realised how much it was.
Yeah.
So I just would rather wait until later in life to have pets. And another thing is, like, maybe it's not as relevant anymore after I left my job, but like buying my lunch out every day, because these days, like, I would find that there was no in between. Like, it'd either be a £3.50 meal deal or like a £15 salad. There was like no in between. So like, either you sacrifice your health and you go £3.50, or you splurge and go £15, but every single day, that's insane. And I'd know some colleagues that would get it like a £15 salad every day, which is like fine if that's what makes them happy, but then...
How much is that a month? I want to do the maths. So if you buy a £15 salad every day, that's £75 a week, which is £300 a month, which is £3,600 a year. You could buy a Chanel bag.
Exactly.
With that.
I'd much, yeah.
You could buy a Chanel wallet. I don't know, a wallet on chain. You couldn't buy a handbag anymore.
Yeah.
But that is like when you've got to almost be. I saw Patricia Bright make a video the other day, and she said the biggest mistake people make with money is that they don't look. And it's so true. Like if you're just buying a £15 salad every day, you don't realise that it's going to be £3,600 a year.
Yeah.
It just seems like a £15 salad. So you kind of have to like take that leap of responsibility and actually look like, oh, actually, how much money am I spending on salad? Wait, I could have saved that and, you know, made £1,000 on top of it on interest, or I could have, you know, put that towards a house. You know, it's crazy.
And if you said to one of these people that did buy those two things, coffee and lunch, like say they were spending £4,000, like if you said to them, oh, would you join a private members club for £2,000, they'd probably say no, that's a waste of money. But like they would be happy to spend that money elsewhere, but they, because it's daily, they don't see it. So it's just about, I don't know what matters to you, but to me, like food and drink, like I can definitely make that at home. I don't need to splurge.
I mean, when I had a corporate job, before I went to work, and obviously I was living at home, so it was my mum's food, so it's not quite the same. But I would make a hummus wrap every Monday to Thursday, and then on Fridays I'd get itsu, and in my videos it looked like I was always having itsu. But actually I was only filming once a week, so I only went into the office once a week. So I'd get a Starbucks and an itsu on the Friday, like to jazz up my content and like to treat myself. But I wasn't doing that every day of the week. Like that would be crazy. I was on like a £16,000 a year salary back then, you know.
So the fourth one is nails. Simply because it's not so much the cost of it, it's the kind of the mental maintenance. Seeing it slowly grow out like just irritates me somehow.
It's quite painful.
It's just like when it's that in-between phase. I think when I used to get them done, well, it was only a short period, I'd like go a bit too early, like, you know, every 2 weeks, and then that becomes even more expensive, right?
But when I saw Mia make a video about this ages ago, and I said, Mia, I'll tell you how you can get your nails done for free. Become a content creator, and then you can film content, and then you don't have to pay. I mean, I will be the first person to admit I have not paid to get my nails done in 3 years living in London. That's because I make a lot of content about nails. But actually, one thing I will say, which Mia would disagree with, is that I think paying for a Russian manicure over like just a bog standard nail salon, which is more expensive but lasts longer, is a good use of money. So I would call that save the pennies, because you have to get your nails done less, which takes up less time and less mental effort. I also always get a skinny French, because if this grows out, you can't see. So if you get like bright red nails, then they grow out in like 2 weeks and you have to get them redone. But I could have these on for a month. They won't come off because it's Russian. So they're done, like the technique of Russian and Ukrainian manicures is not like a normal one. So it lasts you longer. It takes longer when you're there, but you have to go less frequently. And then if you get this design, when they grow out, you can't see it. So I'd rather spend £80 12 times a year on a Russian/Ukrainian manicure than go every 2 weeks and get a £50 manicure. Like in long term, you're not only saving money, but you're saving time. Because when I go to get my nails done, and obviously I make a lot of beauty content, so I always have to have, you know, clean, presentable nails. And I'm known for this specific design, so I have to have these ones. But it's like, you know, a good 2.5 hours I'm sat there. And most of the time I'll bring someone with me because I want to talk to them, and, you know, they'll write stuff down I need to do, or we'll work on something as I'm sat there, because otherwise it's boring. Such a bit, like, it is such a commitment. You're right, it's such a commitment.
But no, I 100% see why you or other people might get them to have a signature look, because you're like, in a way you have a certain aesthetic, or if you're doing like lifestyle content, it makes total sense. But because a lot of my videos are like maybe talking, it's maybe not as,
it's not like, as prominent. It doesn't matter as much. But you can get Flavia on Instagram speaks about it a lot. She uses these like at-home nail kits, and they're not nail varnishes. They're like, I think it's a Japanese manicure, I think. So you're just using buffing and oils. But she like swears by them. She doesn't get gels anymore. She doesn't get acrylics. My mum uses it as well.
I'll try that.
Yeah, and everyone raves about it because it's so low maintenance. It's so cheap because you just buy the pack like once. So, you know, if you want to have really presentable nails, but you don't want to pay to go and get them done, I can't think for the life of me what it's called. We can put it on the screen, but that's a good option.
Yeah, thank you. I'll try it out.
Last thing?
Takeaways. Yeah. So number 5 would probably be takeaways. I would much rather like go and eat out if I'm with like friends or family. Like, don't get me wrong, I have like a bigger eating out budget than maybe other people, but that's kind of where I get like my enjoyment, seeing friends and family. And sometimes I like to treat them, which obviously comes to more, but that's something that I appreciate because it's like an experience. But when you're at home, like I think if you have like recipes that you will go to that are just really easy and delicious, like it doesn't really make sense to me why I would. A lot of the times when I get delivery and stuff, it comes cold. Yeah. I'm never that impressed. I'm always just think like, if I'm going to spend that much money, I may as well just go to the restaurant where you have
an experience.
Service. Yeah, exactly, where you have the service. But I think it would make sense if you're extremely busy and you could do another task that has a higher return, so you could make a lot more money than the delivery costs, of course. But for me, I just like to spend the money elsewhere.
Yeah. Weirdly, when I moved to London, I grew up in a village and there were no takeaways. So when I moved to London, my friends would come round, I'd not have any food, and I'd be like, oh, I'll whip something up.
Yeah.
Like my mum always used to be able to just make something quickly out of like nothing, like such an ingredient household. Yeah. So I'm used to like finding things to eat, even if it was like a weird meal. So sometimes the flatmate I had at the time would be like, why don't you just order a takeaway? And I'd be like, oh, I didn't even think, because I was so used to growing up and not having the ability to order a takeaway. But actually, I'm glad, because if I had first moved to London, I didn't really know how to cook. If I'd have just been ordering takeaway every night, I would have spent an absolute fortune, like literally an absolute fortune. But one thing I do like, I've spoken about loads of times now, is, again, this was my Christmas present for my mum and dad, such a loser Christmas present. But for me, it was like the best gift ever. There's a website called Stocked, and they do like they're like frozen blocks. So you get 8 blocks in a packet, and it'll be like bolognese or curry or chili, like a protein. And then you literally put them in a pan. They're frozen, so they don't go off. So if you're like me and you, who are like sometimes at brand dinners or, you know, don't know our exact schedule, they're really handy because you just put them in the freezer. And then I literally just put them in the pan for like 5 minutes. They defrost and cook. And then I have these like rice packets I put in, bit of salad or whatever. It literally takes 5 minutes. And then you've got a really quick meal. You didn't have to go out and buy anything fresh. Okay, it's not good to eat like frozen food all the time, but it's better than having like a takeaway or a McDonald's.
Yeah. So
those have honestly been such a game changer for me, because I can make a really nutritional meal that doesn't cost me any money, really, for, you know, in 5 minutes.
Oh, I'll definitely check that out.
They're good. Yeah, really good. So that was the 5 things. Just list them off super quick for me.
Coffees, lunches, pets, takeaways and nails.
Yeah. So you have over 100k in your investments. What advice would you give to someone that wants to start investing, but they've literally got no idea how?
So obviously I'm not a financial advisor. I can't advise anyone on their own personal circumstances or convince them to make any kind of investment decisions. But
disclaimer.
But what I will say is that there are some universal things, or just widely recognized things, that are just very useful. So the first thing that I would do is ensure that I'm using a stocks and shares ISA. It's literally the cheat code to getting rich, because you can put in up to £20,000 every tax year, and you can invest in stocks and shares, and you don't pay any tax, capital gains tax, dividend tax, or income tax when you take the money out either. And the reason being is because if you start young, you obviously have the benefit of compound interest. And so your next question might be like, what do I invest in? Like, what funds or stocks? And like, when I first got into investing, I always thought like, oh, let me just go for the brands that I recognize. So I invested in like NatWest and Sainsbury's and stuff. And it's not like, you know, I'm not saying whether they're good or bad investments, but picking individual stocks is quite risky. You're just literally putting all your eggs in one basket. So what I eventually learned is about these things called ETFs, and they're just like a basket of hundreds or thousands of stocks. So I would say with those 2 things, with the stocks and shares ISA and doing your research into what ETFs could work for you, I think that could be a really good starting point for some people.
And how would you actually go about doing that? Like, is there a specific platform or website to use?
Well, yeah, obviously this is not sponsored, but my favorite platform is Trading 212, the one that I use most frequently. It's an app that you can download. It's free. Some other apps charge you like a flat fee for having a stocks and shares ISA, so I really try to go for the lower cost ones. But if you wanted something a bit more traditional, then you got places like Vanguard or Fidelity.
Okay, cool. I didn't know this. I'm learning. I'm learning. So I spoke to Mia a while ago because I was like, for some reason, I love money. Don't get me wrong. I love earning money and I love money, but I don't really have any interest in it once I've got it, if that makes sense, which is such a bizarre concept for me. But I think part of the issue for me is that I grew up, like earning £3.20 an hour and £6 an hour. So then when I started being given these bigger figures, it kind of just makes me feel overwhelmed and I just want to just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
So I, spent years listening to people say to me, oh, you need to start investing your money. And I was like, I don't know how. And then controversially, some people agree with this, some people don't. I just got a financial advisor because it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And I've tried to delegate time and, find an interest in it. And I can't. And I think it's okay to understand that if it's not your thing, it's much better to give someone a tiny, really small percentage of the money that they make you than it is for you to just sit and do nothing. And everyone told me not to do that. And I wish people hadn't told me not to do that because I would have done it so much sooner.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you can find a passion in finance and in investing, you should 100% do it yourself. Go and watch all of Mia's videos. But if you watch them all and you're like, what? Like, I don't know if this is for me. It's also okay to get someone else to help you. But I feel like I wasted like 2 years of just having my money sat doing nothing. Because people said to me like, oh, it's so easy, you can do this. And back then there wasn't anyone like Mia who was making all these videos about how to do it. It was like I was going on Google and like trying to find out how it worked. So I just kind of wish that back then someone had said, do you know what, it's actually okay if you want to do that. But now it's so good that there's, yourself and there's other creators making all these videos on how to do it and sharing the benefits on it. And literally every time I go on TikTok, I see some like 14-year-old with like 50 grand in their stocks and thingy, like the little screenshot of the portfolio. And I'm like, what? Like, and all these kids are making all this money on TikTok. And like, it's so good that they have creators that aren't just, telling them to go and buy perfume. They're telling them to go and use this platform and do this and spend your money here. Like, it's so good. Like that never was around before.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to be honest, I got into it like by learning on YouTube. So there was a lot of YouTubers, but there wasn't, I mean, short form is fairly new when you think about it. And I think that, I guess I'm almost like a newer generation of personal finance creators because a lot of previous ones, like with all due respect, like they come from backgrounds in banking, finance and stuff, which is amazing. And they're the most reputable people. But I guess there was almost like a gap in the market for someone that didn't actually work in finance.
Yeah,
it was
it's
just
so
like,
much easier to relate to someone that's also learning.
Yeah. So I guess I kind of see myself in that more personal finance area. But I totally agree with what you said about the financial advisor. I think it's kind of like it's frowned upon because people that know about it think, oh, it's too easy. But the thing is, you're not paying for someone to do something that complicated because I'm sure you already understand it. It's more the peace of mind that you didn't have to make the decision yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because like roughly, I could put it in this index fund, but you just don't want the responsibility of like, if I made the wrong choice, then it's on me.
Yeah.
So like,
and it's also like people are like, oh, they charge, how are you paying for someone to like deal with your money? And it's like, well, I think you give them like 2% of what they make you.
Yeah.
So it's a classic case of like, I could do everything myself in my business, but then I'd have no time and I'd be burnt out. Yeah. So if someone's making you money, why they deserve to have like a small percentage of what they've made you. If they don't make you any money, they don't get paid. So it doesn't matter, So we both came from a corporate job and then transferred into content creation. How did you find creating content alongside your 9 to 5?
It was pretty tough. Like in terms of like, when I tell people I was 5 days in the office, doing it in the mornings and evenings and weekends, like people are just like, how did you do that? But I guess you probably feel the same way, that when you find something that you really love or is also working for you financially as well. You just keep going with it and it doesn't feel like work. It feels like feels enjoyable. So even though it was like quite stressful sometimes with brand deals, like as it started ramping up, like sometimes people would ask me to get on a call at 10 a.m. and I'd be like, I can't, I'm at work. Or I'd have to like get on the phone in the toilets or something, and it just felt like, I don't know, I was living a double life, but I'm sure you felt the same. It's hard, but I think when you love it, it doesn't
feel like work. And like I used to go into work at like 5 a.m. to film, you know, like the pictures of me in the lift and the little clips of me at my desk, because I couldn't film during the office hours. That people would be like, why has she like got a tripod up? And then I used to stay after work and I would basically edit my video of the day, and then I wouldn't leave until it was like up and posted. So I'd go home at like 9 p.m. most nights. But it meant that I had done basically both jobs before I'd even gone home. So it was like I would leave and everything was done. And to me, it was like I didn't mind staying the extra, like 6 hours. I wasn't working, I was doing my own work. But I remember people used to come up to my desk and be like, God, you're still here? And I was like, oh, I'm not doing, you know, my Badger Salmon work, I'm doing editing. And they were like, God, do you not want to go home and like see your friends? And I was like, no, I want to post my TikTok because every time I post one, I'm getting 1 million likes. And they were like, what? And they just didn't get it. And I just loved it. Like I loved posting TikToks. I still love posting TikToks. But it's when you like really love something, it just doesn't feel like work, does it? It's so nice.
I definitely relate to that. But I wanted to ask you, what did you feel like because of that? Because like, I can imagine if you were leaving that early for work and getting home at 9, did you sacrifice some other areas of your life a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would say my friendships suffered in like my early 20s. But I think if you have amazing friends, they understand. So I kind of lost the friends that maybe weren't that great for me. And then I made new friends because I made new friends in the spaces I was working in. And 90% of the friends I have now, I've met through like on content shoots or on jobs, or like the makeup artist that was on a set for a client I became friends with, or one of the models we were using I became friends with. So it's like, you know, I definitely sacrificed my like friendships, maybe a bit of socializing in my early 20s. But I would say it's allowed me to do even more socialising and have better friends now than I would have had before. And also it allowed me to move to London.
Yeah.
Like I would never have been able to move to London if I wasn't making those TikToks after work, you know?
Yeah.
I just wouldn't have been able to. I was thinking, oh, I'll move to London after I'd finished my degree. I would have been like, I wouldn't have even finished by now. I would have been in Bristol till I was 25.
Yeah. Well,
I just don't think that would have been any good for me, you know?
No, I feel exactly the same, that I sacrificed like maybe going to the gym or seeing my friends, or like
the gym's a big one for me. Like I never go to the gym.
Me neither.
I've tried to do like the treadmill working and it just doesn't work. Like it's so difficult to like I'm editing on CapCut like on a treadmill, it just doesn't work. But I know some people and like they will not go a day without going to the gym. I won't go a day without posting a TikTok. It's just a different priority.
Yeah.
Like I don't even enjoy going to the gym, do you?
No, well, I've started going, but
well done.
Thank you. No, but I was going to say to you, I feel the same way, that you like during that. I don't know how long it took you, but for me, like that year of just like graft, you sacrifice a lot, but in the end, like you said, you have better friendships, you have more time, you have more time for hobbies, all the things that you
and you have more money
to
to do things that you couldn't do before.
Yeah.
I mean, on the gym, this is literally going to make you feel sick, by the way, just pre-warning you. I signed up for a Third Space membership in, I think it was September last year, which means I did 14 months of paying £260 a month, £240 a month. Guess how many times I went?
Oh, I don't know. 10 times?
Probably 10 times. So every time I went, I was paying like £300. But do you know what it is? It's the guilt.
Yeah.
So every month when I saw it come out my account, I'd be like, right, this month I'm going to go loads to make up for all the months I've paid for. And I saw this graphic recently and it was like the psychology behind gym memberships. And basically it explained that you pay for a gym membership and you don't go, but you don't cancel it because you want to make your money back. So you say to yourself, you're going to go 3 times as much to recoup the money, but you never do because you never wanted to go in the first place. And then you'll hit like a year period mark And then you'll be like, right, I have to go now. So then you go every day for a month, but then the next month you don't go. So you just end up in this vicious cycle. And do you know what? I just said to myself, I'm going to take the hit, I'm going to take the loss, and I'm going to cancel the membership. And I emailed because I'd already done that halfway cancel where I said I was leaving and they said, oh, you've got a month left. And then I was like, right, if I actually use it, then I'll uncancel it. And of course I then used it. I mean, I was going to use the shower to scrub off my fake tan. I wasn't actually using the gym, but at least I was using it, you know? And then I was like, do you know what? I haven't used it. Cancelled. They emailed me like, are you sure? And I said, am I sure? Look how many times I've visited the whole time. And then I replied, I was like,
That's so funny.
But, you know, I think if you use the gym and you pay for an expensive membership, that's great. But my God, like, I could have spent that, I don't even want to know how much it is, like £4,000 on like a whole holiday. Yeah. But instead I paid for a gym membership that I didn't even need. Like, such a waste of money. What the hell? That's like my biggest regret in the past year. So what made you realise it was time for you to quit your 9-to-5? What made you think, right, do you know what? It's time for me to quit.
When I used to go to a lot of brand events in my journey, people would often ask me, oh, why don't you do it full time? And I just said to them, I'd be worried about like the unstable income, or like how you get paid 60 or 90 days after, or just all of these different factors, or the fact that it was so new, like such a new industry. And also I grew up with like quite traditional parents, so I thought I had to have a stable 9-to-5 to be considered like successful or just doing okay. But when I started to like really put my all into my content, because I think I was posting consistently, but then there was like almost a period where I was like, I need to elevate. Like, I don't just want to be posting TikToks for the sake of it, because you kind of get into the cycle of like, yeah, I just want to get high engagement. But no, I was like, no, let me make this a brand. And that's when I started being more strategic. And then from that, I feel like I got such better brand deals and I started to negotiate higher rates. And I think it was around the time that I had like my first 5-figure month. That really made me realize I am kind of like miserable at this job. Like, I was going in every day, like I would always be the first one there to unlock, and as I was putting the keys in, I would be thinking, I need to leave. I need to leave each day. I'd be thinking, I need to quit. But then like I'd get home after the end of the day and think like, no, that was like, it's fine, I can just stay. But I think it was really when I weighed up, okay, I'm making 5 figures here a month, and then I'm getting paid £1,900 a month at this job. It kind of became an opportunity cost to stay.
Yeah.
Like, I looked at it from a business lens and I thought, if I'm getting all of these opportunities to like go on podcasts, go to events, or like really great brand deals, I would have to turn those things down to stay. And that's just hurting myself.
Yeah. And it's just like a safety net at the end of the day, isn't it? And
yeah.
Like, I made a video a while ago and I said, you know, it was that trend that I'm talking about, like past tense, because obviously it's coming out later. It was the trend that was like, in your 20s, people will tell you not to quit your corporate job. Don't listen to them, quit. And I had a few comments on there saying, this is such bad advice to give to young people, like, you know, telling people to quit their jobs is so unstable, like it's so risky. And I was like, because it is a risk. But if you've got a dream, I wasn't telling everyone to quit. I was saying, if you have a dream and you really want to achieve the dream and your corporate job's holding you back, yeah, you should quit. Like, take a risk. The worst that's going to happen is that you have to go back and get another job like that if it doesn't work out, you know? But I was in a similar position, and I think the thing that probably held you back without you realising is that you do kind of get more respect online when you have a job. You're not just an influencer. But the pivotal point that you made is that you decided, right, I'm going to make this a brand. I'm going to make it Frugal Chic. I'm not just going to be an influencer that posts about 5 things that you shouldn't spend your money on. I'm going to be Mia McGrath, who is the Frugal Chic girl, and I'm showing up being her, and my content's strong. And that way you had a purpose. So you weren't just an influencer posting about what to spend money on and what not to. You were a brand. So you had that backbone that gave you the confidence to be like, do you know what, this outweighs my corporate job. And that's something I didn't really realise until I left. And when Mia quit her job, I actually messaged her and I was like, make sure you don't lose your story, which is that you take the tube and you don't get takeaways. And even though, like, yeah, now we do get Ubers to events sometimes because it saves time and it's more comfortable and we can get data in the car and be on our phones, you don't have to include that in your vlog, it does, because you can see why people get annoyed because it doesn't match up to the storyline that they followed you for. Like, yes, it's okay to grow and be, a different person, but you almost have to kind of understand that people like familiarity and they like seeing you getting on the tube and they like seeing you talking about what not to buy. So to not like lose that within your storyline. And for me, the reason I launched the marketing agency is because I didn't just want to quit and be like an influencer doing what? Like, all my jobs were about working in corporate, So it was like, what can I do instead of working in an office that will still give me that corporate like edge? So I was like, well, I'll start a marketing agency. And I kind of flicked between those two for like a good 2 years before I really found my feet in the influencing world again. And I had to like rebrand myself because I wasn't a corporate girl anymore.
You have to keep relatability.
Yeah. And it did take me a good kind of, I would say, 2 years to understand that actually I wasn't a corporate girl anymore. So who is Isobel Lorna? And it took me all that time to understand Isobel Lorna as like a creative, funny, fashionable girl who, has a bit of humour about driving a KA but wearing a Birkin because it's a better investment than a car, blah, blah, blah. But that took me ages, whereas like you kind of did that before you left and I did it after I left. So it's just having that understanding of like, you want to have a bit of something about you, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I agree. Like the quitting your 9 to 5 thing, like you said, people just take it so at face value, but like it obviously only applies to people that have the opportunity of deciding whether to, right?
Yeah.
Not just like, I'm comfortably at my 9 to 5. Oh
I'm going to quit. Yeah.
No, but I agree. And I think it doesn't matter when you come to this realization, like whether yours was after or mine was before. I think any creator comes to a point where they realize they're not just making content, they're building something. It's a business, and that business has to have like a brand and has to have fonts and stuff. And I think just anyone on their journey will slowly realize that, and that's when they'll elevate a bit more. And
people ask me all the time as well, like, how did you know it was the right time? I don't know how you felt, but I just one day was like, fuck it, I'm going to quit. I can't do it anymore. Yeah. It was like I was pushed so over the edge that I was like, I'm just going to quit. And it's like, I feel like with that, it's when you know. Yeah. So don't rush it. And if you're wondering whether you should, don't, because you'll know. Like, when did you come to the realization? Like, what did you just think?
I had the same thing, to be honest. Obviously, I can't say too much, but the company was having a restructuring, and thankfully I wasn't affected, but I was going to be someone that did stay. But like the team was so much smaller, and I was already feeling like a little bit overworked. And to be fair, like I had tried to compensate for that by like asking for a pay rise, which I got, but like the extra 10k, like it wasn't worth staying for. And that's when I realized, like, if an extra £10,000 of top of my salary won't make me stay at this job, then I just shouldn't be here. Like I should feel grateful and I should be happy to be there. So that's when I was like, and I think I did the same thing as you, like you just know immediately and you almost like mentally check out. You're just like,
it's a check. Checked out.
You're just done. And from that moment on, you can still go to work, but you're just not mentally there.
It's the same with like, you know how they say girls check out of relationships and then they're just done. So you can push a girl and treat her so badly for months. And then one day she'll just wake up and be like, I don't want to go out with you anymore. And that's what it's like when you quit your job. It feels like the same thing. So since quitting your job, you've not only had that Vogue article, but you've landed some amazing brand deals. So what's been your favourite brand deal you've done so far?
Probably HMRC, as you mentioned before. I think just as a personal finance creator, it just adds such a level of credibility that I never thought I'd be able to have.
And can I just say, when I saw at HMRC an ad, I was like, my God, Mia, you've literally nailed that to a T. Like, that's one of the best brand partnerships I've seen all year from creators. Like, and it just goes to show that, you know, even the UK government's waking up and realising how valuable creators are.
Yeah, actually a similar thing happened. I was invited to 10 Downing Street, and that was like such an experience. And I think, it was like, it's just very overwhelming because I don't come from a background of finance and all of this, but I just have a passion for it. And I think it does show, like they literally said to us, we've invited you creators because we feel like young people or Gen Z are getting their news from social media. So it's really important that the right messages are delivered. So I thought I was just really touched that like I was even included, and it's just been amazing to like have all these opportunities.
And actually, do you want to just explain like the HMRC ad?
Yeah, so for HMRC, I had to do, I did an ad with them, and it was basically about paying tax on your side hustle. So if you've earned more than £1,000, you have to declare your income because it's like a business, you're turning a profit. And I guess in the video, I just explained like that sometimes there's a bit of confusion around that. But, you know, if you're not sure, you can just look at the website. And I guess just like reminding people, because it's not necessarily to make people feel caught out. It's actually like to just bring awareness, because then if it's on your radar, you can be like, oh yeah, I wasn't quite sure if like reselling or babysitting or all these things, were they a side hustle? Like then you know, and you can just check very easily. But
and it's more like, you know, you want to pre-warn people so they don't get themselves in a mess. Like the last thing you want is to get on the wrong foot with HMRC.
Yeah.
And I say to people all the time, I'm like, honestly, HMRC find out everything you do, so there's no point. Like, oh, you're not sure if you can put a dinner out on a Saturday on your business card? You can't. Don't even bother. Don't even try. And someone gave me a really good piece of advice once. They said, it was actually a creator I know, and he was getting investigated by HMRC. And he was like, I've been so careful my whole life, but he was having like an investigation, and they found a couple of things that were like small things, but they didn't, you know, they were still shouldn't have been put on the business. And he said, next time you are wondering if you should put something as an expense on your business, imagine being sat in a boardroom with 6 lawyers and people from HMRC asking you why that's a business expense. And then if you can't have an explanation, don't put it on your business card. And I was like, that's such a good piece of advice, because that is literally what happens. Like if you put the wrong stuff against your business, you will get called up on it and you have to explain, and it's embarrassing. Like just be aware of what you can and can't put on there and stick to it. Like there's no point in trying to cut corners to save a bit of money. Like just don't bother.
I agree.
Yeah. But that was nice, because it was like you were reminding people.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. What are some other ones that you've loved?
So in terms of finance, I've done Compare the Market, the FCA, XTB, their trading platform. And then recently I've been moving more into like lifestyle. So I did H&M recently. I did Hilton.
Oh yeah, very good.
So yeah, I've been trying to move into more of the lifestyle space too. Yeah.
Different circles. But that is, I think, a really good point, that in any niche you have on social media, there's money to be made. Just because you don't post about fashion or beauty or, you know, the common ones, doesn't mean that there's not really good money to be made in the more niche areas. And actually, the more niche the area, the more money you get from experience. So, you know, if you're thinking, oh, I want to start an account about gardening, but how am I going to earn any money? Trust me, there will be brands out there that are willing to pay you a lot of money to promote their gardening brands. And the fact that it's niche makes the content perform even better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Do you like doing the fashion ones?
Yeah, I do. I'd like to do more fashion content, but I know it doesn't sound right because I've obviously like done so much, but I'm quite lazy or like quite efficient with my content. So I don't want to be like doing dressing up and stuff, because I find that quite draining.
It is a bit long, yeah. I find that with the fashion, honestly, the best way to promote what you're wearing is to actually wear it.
Yeah.
So the other day I did a H&M ad, and people were like, oh, this isn't real. And I was like, no, it was real. Basically, I had this ad to film with the new collection. It was on my radar. And I had a Christmas party and I literally completely forgot. I knew it was that day, but I just forgot. So I didn't have time to go home. So I was like, oh, I'll just film my H&M ad now. And I'll literally go into the store, pick one of the outfits out of the outfits I need to promote, and I'll actually try it on and I'll actually wear it to the party. And that didn't just obviously showcase the clothes, but I obviously showcased other clothes in the collection. And you can actually see that I was wearing it and enjoying it, and that I looked good in it, and it made me feel good. So I feel like the best way to actually promote like fashion and beauty is to actually just wear it. Like, don't feel like you need to dress up and like film specific videos. Like, wear an outfit out to do your work and be like, this is what I'm wearing today, or I'm filming this ad, this is what I'm wearing to film it in. I don't know, like, it's just then so much more authentic, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good advice. Thank you.
Yeah. But I feel like I would love watching your videos on like Frugal Chic wardrobe capsule collection. Like we had Kate on and she was going through how some of her most viral videos and the videos that made her grow the most were on capsule collection because it's so relatable and people want to know how they can have 5 items in their wardrobe and style them in different ways. So that could be a good angle for you.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. So you've already worked with some amazing brands, but what is your dream brand deal? Any niche? Finance, fashion, beauty.
I know it sounds pretty obvious, but maybe trading 212.
Yeah.
Because I have an affiliate partnership with them, but I've never done a brand deal. And that would just be a dream because I've literally like promoted them so much over the last year and a half. So
literally.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah. And it's really nice when you do so much organic work for a brand and then they kind of, it's almost like they're paying you back almost for your hard organic work. But it's not even the money that we want. It's like the association that we want with them. And we want to say like proudly that we work with them. I mean, sometimes it's annoying when like you'll work really hard to get a brand deal and then people will be like, oh, you don't actually use it or like you don't actually do that. And it's like if you followed me and you heard me speaking and you tuned into, my content, you would have seen me use that organically so many times. And most of the partnerships we get are like, it's not just come in for no reason. It's because we've tactically tried to get them or we've put something in our content to, be like, hey, I'm over here. Can you see my content? But I feel like that would be a good one for you, trading 212. I mean, one thing I would say is a piece of advice I got told when I first started influencing, which was if you do too much for free, they'll never pay.
Yeah.
But then you love them and you use them all the time, so it's annoying.
Yeah.
If you would have to do that. But I have had that in the past where actually I've raved about certain brands or products so much, and then I don't know, I've just got busy and not posted them in a while, and then they reach out to you because they miss, that kind of feed that they're giving to you. So, yeah. Any others?
I'd love to do like a luxury clothing brand.
Yeah.
But I can't really think of one. But
like Burberry would be cool for you.
Yeah, because I wear my Burberry
love your
trench.
Burberry trench. Yeah, that would be cool. And I feel like that Burberry like using creators that have a bit of something about them.
Yeah,
like you. That would be good. Burberry, hello. So we already touched on beauty, but what are 5 beauty products that you think are worth the money? She's like, none.
I mostly use drugstore.
Yeah.
But the expensive products I have tried, I like the Westman Atelier blushes, the blush sticks.
You can do the high street.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I also like the Rare Beauty stuff and
Yes.
the YSL blushes as well.
Yeah.
For high street, I love Elf. Like I'd wear full face of Elf because like you can get mascara for like £6 and it works really well. You can like everyone just raves about that brand and they're so affordable, which I really love.
Can you share your hack about the sun cream? I find it really interesting.
Yeah, so I use kids sun cream because my mentality is if it's safe enough to put it on your kids, it's safe enough to put it on your face. And I don't see the point in paying like £15 for a face sun cream just because it says on the bottle it's for your face.
Fair.
Like it doesn't mean anything. Like obviously if you're going for that aesthetic vibe and you just want to show off that you're like using a certain brand, then it makes sense. Like I do have some more aesthetic sun creams if I'm going for that vibe, but like if I want something that's like bulky,
everyday, reliable, will last ages. But it's a good tip though, especially if people are on a budget. Like sun cream is expensive, especially like I think the sun cream I use is like £18. It does last like 3 months, but actually having an £18 sun cream when you're like on a low starting salary isn't really that doable. Like you need to find little ways to save money, and if it means buying kids sun cream so you can still wear it every day, then I think it's a good tip.
Yeah.
I like that tip. I'm trying to think of affordable. I mean, I always just think like the CeraVe skincare you can't go wrong with.
I love
it's so
CeraVe.
affordable,
Yeah.
And even when I was younger I used to use like the Boot Zone stuff. Like even things now, like I never buy branded wet wipes, like makeup remover wipes. I don't really wear them, but it annoys me when they're like £5. Like they should be £1,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any like hacks I did when I was younger. I used to be, I wish I'd like noted down what I used to do, because I used to be so savvy with like my beauty stuff. But yeah, things like mascara when you're on a budget, like the e.l.f. one's good, you know? You don't need to be having like anything fancy and special. You just need something. Most things, if you use them right, will look good. I mean, Katie, my friend that's the celebrity makeup artist, she was explaining in her podcast episode that, you know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, when she first started doing makeup, the drugstore products were awful.
Yeah.
So she had an expectation to use luxury beauty brands, but now the drugstore brands have caught up so much that some products you can't even tell the difference.
Yeah.
But the difference is, you know, if you're paying a fee for an expensive makeup artist, you expect them to open their kit and have luxury beauty products. But she says actually the clients love it when she pulls out like a L'Oreal mascara or you know, a drugstore product that's cheaper than, you know, YSL or Giorgio Armani or whatever, and they find it interesting. And I personally love mixing like high end with low end makeup, you know.
Yeah, same.
Some things I use are expensive, some things I use are affordable. It's about finding what looks good on your skin, not necessarily the brand, because you can't see the brand when it's on your face, can you?
Exactly. I think for most everyday people who are just walking about their life, like you can't see what brand it is. But I guess if you're an influencer or a makeup artist, you have more pressure to have a certain image or to use certain products because you want to align with those brands.
Exactly.
But for most everyday people, I don't think it's necessary.
You don't need it. But I mean, you'd be surprised. Like my flatmate, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell the story. She is like she's a marketer's dream, right? So she'll buy anything that she gets told is good. You would, Jules, don't even deny, okay? So she goes and gets these facials, and the woman sells her like this cleanser and these toning pads. They're honestly so expensive, I can't even say it out loud. I've seen the receipts. And I'm like, Jules, I've got all of that in my cupboard 5 times over. I've got exfoliating pads from 5 brands. I've got cleansers from 10 brands. It's all there waiting for you. But you still go and spend your hard-earned money, like hundreds of pounds, on this beauty stuff because this woman's told you that it's better than what you've already got. And I'm like, oh my God, how are you doing this? Like, it's so expensive. But it's because she's been recommended it and told. And you can see how people get swindled into buying like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of beauty products because they see on the label it says like reduces blemishes or makes your pores smaller, and they just think, oh yeah, it will, and they buy it.
Yeah.
But it's when you work in marketing you realise how things work, and sometimes I think, oh, I wish I didn't, because it like takes the joy out of it a bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to have balance.
Yeah.
Balance of both.
Yeah.
You know? Something you've spoken about on your TikTok before is that you were adopted.
Yeah.
And my godparents, they adopted 2 girls from China. So it's something I'm quite familiar with, but there's probably people listening that don't quite understand like some of the questions you get. I look at and I'm like, what? How do you not know about that? So do you want to like tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Wuhan, which obviously has a great reputation, but I was like left outside of the orphanage, like just in a basket, and I was taken into the orphanage, and I was actually like fostered for a year. And then my British parents, they couldn't have kids, so they didn't want to do IVF because it was quite expensive and unpredictable in the early 2000s. So they looked into adoption, and at that time, like there was just quite a like demand, or I don't know, like it was quite commonplace to do international adoptions because of like what was going on, and especially with the one-child policy in China. So yeah, I was adopted, brought here when I was about 18 months, and I've grown up in like southeast London ever since. I have recently moved out, but yeah, so my parents are British, like my mum's English and my dad's half Irish, which is where I get my surname McGrath from. Mm-hmm. People expect me to know how to speak Mandarin, or also, like they expect me to use chopsticks or know something about Chinese culture, but then I'd tell them like, oh, I was raised by white parents. So like it's ironic that like I learned that from them. So it's not like, and even like if I learned Mandarin now, like I wouldn't, like it's quite difficult to learn. I wouldn't get any pats on the back. I'd be like, they'd just assume that I knew it from birth. So. Yeah,
it's so sweet though. Like Mia says all the time, like I've seen people comment saying, are you interested in finding your birth parents? And you're like, no, because my parents are my parents. I think that's so nice.
Yeah, it's so true. Just because like someone doesn't look like you, they're not any less your family. Yeah. So yeah, I just think family is the people that you choose.
Yeah.
And yeah, I never want to, I think it was a hard experience growing up, like in London, being the only Chinese kid in school. But I think it taught me that your appearance, like, people judge you for it, but it matters how you feel about it and how you want to be yourself.
Yeah. And like I said, I grew up spending a lot of time when I was in London. So we'd come down to London for like the weekend or whatever with my godparents, and they had 2 Chinese daughters, Mia and Taya, and then they had Marco and George, who were just white British. But we always saw them as like one family, because they were like just one family, and they weren't any different to, you know, Marco and George. They're just the same. They're all the same, from the same parents, you know?
Yeah.
But I understand why you wouldn't understand that if you haven't been brought up around someone like that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think people just, like, yeah, when I was younger, like, they'd be like, oh, is this your nan, to my mum? So, like, I think people's initial reaction is like, oh, is your dad white, or what's going on there? Which makes sense. But I guess, like, I know it sounds really cliche, but I don't really think race is that important. Not that the issues with it aren't important, but I just don't think it matters in a family setting. I think that an interracial family is amazing, you know?
Yeah. So, what advice would you give to anyone wanting to become a content creator in 2025?
I would say don't necessarily try and pick one topic to talk about, because, like, don't get me wrong, it's great to be known for something. I think that's important, to have a really distinct brand. But at the same time, you kind of build your brand around you. And so I think it's much more powerful to have a personal brand where people are invested in you. And a lot of people try to do this the wrong way around. They think, okay, I'll just be an influencer, so I'll just vlog my day. But, like, respectfully, not many people are interested in that unless you frame it in an interesting way. So what I would say is, like, if someone wants to be a content creator, focus on, like, solving your problems in your life. It's a little bit what you were talking about earlier. Like, you had that H&M ad, but you wanted to create a story around it. Like, you wanted to go and do the shopping and take people along with you. It's like, if I want to make a video, like, you know, just some examples is, like, I made a video saying that I couldn't find the perfect work bag. It's such a common problem. And so it hit a pain point, because a lot of people don't. And that's why it got like 500,000 views. It wasn't even related to finance. So that's the thing. I would say just try and keep talking about your interests and the things that you're truly enthusiastic about, because I think that shines through more.
It does, yeah.
But I don't know if you agree. I think it's good to, like, because I did get brand deals because I was talking about finance, but I would say that
have a niche, but don't be afraid to shy out of it, and shy out of it at the start, not, you know, when you've already got 100,000 followers, because then your 100,000 followers are going to be like, well, I didn't follow her for that, because they had never seen you doing it before. So,
but and also you
advice.
you can talk about anything and tie it just back to the thing that you love, because, like, a lot of people ask me, is it kind of limiting to have to always talk about finance? But, like, not really, because if I want to go shopping or if I want to do something else, it always relates to finance.
It always does, yeah. So, everything relates to finance, literally.
Yeah, but I guess another niche is, like, fashion. You can relate a lot of things to fashion too. So
yeah, and you can do your outfit or your beauty anywhere in any situation. It's just about finding that niche and being able to put it into different scenarios.
Yeah.
So now for my favourite part of the episode. What is in a Frugally Chic girl's bag? What handbag have we got, first of all?
This is a Longchamp Le Pliage that is falling apart.
They do last a long time, though.
They last, but I think my next purchase will have to be a leather bag. I think I made a mistake, but it was years ago. So.
Yeah. I used to have a Longchamp Pliage when I went to work. The only thing is that it's so hard to fill up. It's like a sack. It's like a never-ending sack.
You used to lose things in there.
Yeah. Show me a couple of bits you got.
I've got a claw clip.
Chic.
It's from Kitsch on Amazon. And my keys. I've got this, like, lip balm.
I've got one of those at home.
Yeah. My wallet, Sadon and Voltaire. I've got this scarf that I got recently. It's a nice way to jazz up the outfit while staying warm. Oh, this is the eyebrow pencil.
That you were talking about.
I've got a Judy doll eyebrow pencil that I got from Skin Cupid. Lip liner, Rimmel London lip liner. This is, like, such a good lip balm.
Oh, Hendrickson.
Yeah.
I didn't even see it, but I could tell from the packaging. Sunglasses.
Chimmy, these are such good quality sunglasses.
Yeah.
Like, they feel really premium.
Put them on. Just look so chic. That is frugal chic, guys. I think as well, like what you were saying earlier, there's a difference between penny pinching and being frugal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Mia was saying to me she doesn't want to be like one of those accounts from TikTok that are like, for dinner I had out-of-date toast with 2 beans on top. Like, they must be a wind-up, those accounts.
I know, it's rage
I'm
bait,
convinced
isn't it? Yeah.
that they're... Or I reuse the water from my hot water bottle to make my morning coffee. Like, what the fuck? Like, are you actually okay?
I've got this book I'm reading. It's called Flow, and it's about the flow state.
Oh my God, flow state. We were
It's really
talking about that
interesting.
earlier.
Yeah.
I want to be in flow state.
And got some leather gloves for the winter.
Love
Essential.
that. Very chic.
Summer Fridays face mist. Just let me know when to stop. An
Umbrella. So you don't
Because-
have to jump in a taxi when it starts raining. You
Yeah.
can pick your umbrella up and get on the tube. If you were going to a desert island and you can only take one beauty product with you, what would you take?
Probably an eyebrow pencil. I
Really?
have to draw them in every day.
Yeah. Which is your favourite one?
I don't know. At the
Just
moment,
use anything.
yeah, at the moment I've been using this Korean one, but I just can't remember the name of it. I got it at a Skin Cupid event, but I would usually use like the Anastasia Beverly Hills like pomade and then like a blush. But anything like.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, last question for you. What do you regret not doing in your career so far?
I really regret not negotiating or advocating for myself more, because it took me so long to realise that if you don't, you're just leaving money on the table for like the employer, the brand, or whoever. Like, someone else will just get it or it just won't come to you. And it's just like, if you don't advocate for yourself, then you're, one, not showing backbone, you're not going to be respected, but two, you're just not going to get things you want. Like, when I started just working out, okay, what do I need to charge? Then just asking, like, unapologetically, this is my rate, and not saying, oh, sorry if it's too high, like just saying this is my rate.
With confidence,
Yeah, I think that made the biggest, that's what allowed me to have financial freedom to do this full time.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just hadn't recognized that, but like,
Know your
yeah.
worth.
Yeah,
know your worth.
and I regret not doing
But
it
I would
sooner.
say as well that, like, when you're learning and you want to land deals, you do feel like, oh, if I send them it too high, they're going to say no, and then I'm not going to be showing anyone that I'm doing any work. So I feel like, don't feel like you did something wrong there. It was part of like the learning process, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well done. Thank you so much for coming in the KA.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Good. I love
Thank you.
talking to you. Save the pennies.
And the Porsche by itself.
Yeah. See you next time.